Hello, assalamualaikum, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will share with you guys the secret of body language and how the late John F. Kennedy, the 35th US President, made use and utilize the power of body language to win the election. But before that, as usual, please don't forget to subscribe my channel and share this video with others so that more people know about this knowledge. With a little bit effort, adding a few secrets of body language in our life or in our works, you may able to convince your customer, you may able to confidently deliver your presentations, you may gain trust from your bosses, or maybe you may able to make others to believe on you. It's cool, right? So please stay and watch this video till the end because a lot of secret to be revealed. As I mentioned to you guys earlier, in this session, I will share with you guys the secret of body language and also called as a non-verbal communication. But I don't wish to give you guys a lecture. Instead, we will go through together reading and do some analysis on the video of a US presidential debate. Frankly speaking, I really wish to use the video from Malaysia, but in Malaysia, unfortunately, this kind of content is still uncommon. And it is also very sensitive when it comes to commenting others. So for this session, this sharing session, I will make use the video of a Kennedy versus Nixon, the 1960 US presidential debates. And we will go through the first 8 minutes of this video, reading the body language during the introductions of moderator and the opening statement by the late John F. Kennedy. So, let's begin.
Good evening. The television and radio station.
Before we proceed further, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you guys the main character in this video. First of all, the gentleman sitting on the left side is the late John F. Kennedy. He is the one who won the election and became the 35th US President. The very reason why I told this to you guys, it is for us to really appreciate how body language makes John F. Kennedy won the elections, and also how body language may help and assist you to nail your presentations or maybe to nail your speech. And next, the gentleman sitting on the right side is his opponent, the late Richard Nixon, and obviously the gentleman in the middle is the moderator of the debate.
The United States and their affiliated stations are proud to provide facilities.
First, we have a look on their sitting behavior. If you can see, both Kennedy and Nixon having a different sitting posture, right? On Kennedy's, his sitting posture, basically, he crossing his right leg on top of his left leg. Theoretically, this kind of posture, as what we can see now in the Kennedy sitting posture, it may act as a barrier which convey that he is currently in a social discomfort condition. But ladies and gentlemen, please don't too fast concluding this because sitting behavior is also really much related to culture. For example, in Asia, specifically in Malaysia, we have been taught to do everything in appropriate manner or in a polite way, right? So basically, we will really rare to see or find a Malaysian sitting with his legs spreading apart, especially in these kinds of official occasions. Even though that sitting with his legs spreading apart means that you have greater confidence in what you are doing now. For Kennedy case, I have made research and found that he was born in a wealthy political family. In fact, his election campaign, US President 1960, was funded by his own father. This really means that he is come from a rich family, and the sitting posture of crossing his leg is actually could be part of his culture or his non-behavior, his sitting non-behavior. Hence, saying that he's currently not comfortable with the situations may not appropriate. Some more, you can see that he unbuttoned his coat, which means that he not trying to cover his body or do any blocking posture. This convey that he is currently very open to whatever challenge in front of him and really confident with the current situations. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, the combinations of leaning back and knee clasping by Kennedy, it shows that he still want to be there, and the knee clasping is actually his method of self-restraining.
Discussion of issues in the current political campaign by the two major candidates for the presidency. The candidates need no introduction. The Republican candidate...
Now let's look on Nixon's sitting posture. If you can see, his posture, it seems to be uncomfortable, right? And also very stiff, right? You look, both of his legs is very inconsistent. One at the normal position and another one, he withdrawing his foot and tuck it under the chair. This portrays that he is really uncomfortable with the current situation. Do you think that this is his culture or his non-behavior? And you look at his hand, the posture of his hand. Again, both is not consistent. One on top of the knees and another one holding the chair tightly. As I mentioned before, the hand on top of the knee is a method of a safe restraining, and the other hand on top of the chair, ladies and gentlemen, is actually convey that he is currently very insecure. In fact, you can see he crossing his hand and touch the other hand. Basically, he tried to comfort himself and also cover his body, or we call it as a blocking gesture. And then you can see also, even he's sitting, he buttoned his coat. This is also a gesture or a posture to cover his body. This kind of a blocking gesture is a sign that he is a very insecure right now and not in a comfortable condition. Guys, look, at the first impressions, we already can predict who will win this debate. Basically, Kennedy have portrayed a good side of him at the first 23 seconds of this video. This is how important for us to master the body language. It can help us in the future because non-verbal is more powerful than what we said. However, let's continue a bit and observe more what else we can read from here.
Vice President Richard M. Nixon and the Democratic candidate, Senator John F. Kennedy. According to rules set by the candidates themselves, each man shall make an opening statement of approximately 8 minutes duration and a closing statement of approximately 3 minutes duration.
At this point, ladies and gentlemen, nothing much we can read from the moderator's body language or facial expression. Basically, bottom part of his body is covered by the table. Some more, we are not able to read his facial expressions because of the video quality. But what interesting to be highlighted here that his voice is very fluent. He speaks fluently and his speed of talking is very consistent. This indicates that he is currently not in a stress conditions.
In between, the candidates will answer or comment upon answers to questions put by a panel of correspondents. In this, the first discussion in a series of 4 joint appearances, the subject matter has been agreed will be restricted to internal or domestic American matters. And now for the first opening statement by Senator John F. Kennedy.
Smith, Nixon. In the election of 1860, Abraham Lincoln said the question was whether this nation could exist, half slave or half free. In the election of 1960, and with the world around us, the question is whether the world will exist, half slave or half free, whether it will move in the direction of freedom.
Now look, the facial expression of Kennedy is really clean. I believe he tried to mix as clean as possible, not to portray any sign. But what interesting over here, Kennedy having a medially downturned eyebrows, where you can see a wrinkle at the edge of the eyebrow downward toward the nose. This may indicate stress, but be careful. When we read a body language, especially facial expression, we cannot read it in isolation. We have to look in total if there is any combination of expression or maybe other expressions appear simultaneously. If in a stress condition, the combination will be a stress line at the forehead. But Kennedy's forehead is really clean unless he took a supplement such bottle to cover it. But I don't think so that is the case here. Somewhere 1960, right? Then the immediately downturned eyebrow gesture by Kennedy here to show his current emotion is concerned, whether he's concerned about what people feels or he concerns with what he's saying, or maybe he tried to show that he's put his feet into the people's shoes. So reading a facial expression is very crucial, even with the minimal changes or maybe a different combination, it may show a different emotion.
In the direction of the road that we are taking, or whether it will move in the direction of slavery. I think it will depend in great measure upon what we do here in the United States, that we build, on the kind of strength that we maintain. We discussed tonight domestic issues, but I would not want that to be any implication to be given that this does not involve directly our struggle with Mr. Khrushchev for survival. Mr. Khrushchev is in New York, and he maintains the communist offensive throughout the world because of the productive power of the Soviet Union itself.
I observed that Kennedy often nodding his head while delivering his speech. This may show that he's honest with his statement. He tried to yes his own statement. In fact, his nodding head gesture is not contradicted to this statement.
I'm not satisfied when we have over $9 billion worth of food, some of it rotting, even though there is a hungry world, and even though 4 million Americans wait every month for a food package from the government, which averages 5 cents a day per individual. I saw cases in West Virginia, here in the United States, where children took home part of their school lunch.
And now he making a chin up gesture. Basically, he raised his chin a little bit higher than a normal position. This kind of gesture to signify his confidence and pride. But if we overdo it, it may look arrogant. So be careful with this kind of gesture.
In order to feed their families, because I don't think we're meeting our obligation towards these Americans. I'm not satisfied when the Soviet Union is turning out twice as many scientists and engineers as we are. I'm not satisfied when many of our teachers are inadequately paid.
He always nodding his head while deliver his statement. I'm not satisfied. He said that yes, he not satisfied. He not satisfied. He having that nodding gesture to honest with this statement, to yes with this statement. Yes, I'm not satisfied.
I'm not satisfied until every American enjoys his full constitutional rights. If a Negro baby is born, and this is true also of Puerto Ricans and Mexicans in some of our cities, he has about 1/2 as much chance to get through high school as a white baby. He has 1/3 as much chance to get through college as a white student. He has about 1/3 as much chance to be a professional man, about 1/2 as much chance to own a house. He has about 4 times as much chance that he'll be out of work in his life as the white baby. I think we can do better. I don't want the talents of any American to go to waste.
From beginning, his voice and its pitch is very consistent. Again, this shows that he is not in the stress conditions or in nervous situations. Very consistent, very fluent, and he tried to having a same facial expressions along his speech. He always with his middle downturned eyebrow. He tried to play with the pupils' emotions. This is what he do.
We cannot turn the job over to anyone else. If the United States fails, then the whole cause of freedom fails. And I think it depends in great measure on what we do here in this country.
So now let we have a look on the Nixon facial expressions. First thing, luckily that camera able to capture the first 3 seconds where we can see Nixon having a very long stare. This is signs that he currently having a deep thought, or maybe he thinking about what he going to say later, or maybe he processing the information that gathered from the Kennedy's opening statement. Somehow we can see also that most of the time Nixon's stare at the Kennedy aggressively with no attempt to look away or even blinking his eyes. This is the observing behavior that are not related, which is a common behavior to the opponent, especially in the current condition where both of them is on a different side, on the different parties, and both of them want to win this election. Now we have a look on Nixon lips gesture. It seems to be very stiff, and he tried to compressing his lip slightly. He may have uncomfortable thought or maybe negative emotion. This is also supported when corner of his mouth is slightly downwards, and it's very difficult to fix. Some more, you can see he reluctant to decompress his lips. Again, indication of stress or tension situations or tension condition. Some more, he tensing his jaw. This is usually happen when we feel angry, we feel fearful, or maybe impatient. In this case, I believe he is at the current stress condition, or maybe his emotions becoming heated because he waiting so long for his turn.
The reason Franklin Roosevelt was a good neighbor in Latin America was because he was a good neighbor in the United States.
Now Kennedy used a palm closed finger pointed gesture. Usually this gesture is for us to make somebody or something become our submissive. If you want to blame somebody or you want to refer to something, we will use this gesture. For Kennedy case, you can hear he said, because he was. He want to blame the he and one audience to refer to the he that mentioned in his speech.
Because they felt that the American society was moving again. I want us to recapture that image. I want people in Latin America and Africa and Asia to start to look to America.
Now you can see he used the palm up display gesture. Normally we use this gesture for us to be accepted. That's why this gesture is used followed upon when he said, I won. This is the universe behavior of cooperations where we want to be accepted. And we often use in our religious ceremony, right? Especially when we perform a prayer or we having a dua, right? So we want to be heard, we want to be accepted.
See how we're doing things. To wonder what the President of the United States is doing, and not to look at Khrushchev or look at the Chinese communists. That is the obligation upon our generation. In 1933, Franklin Roosevelt said in his inaugural that this generation of Americans has a rendezvous with destiny. I think our generation of Americans has the same rendezvous.
Now he used the palm down display and strongly push it towards the podium. This is the more affirmative gesture compared to the palm up display. Basically, he wants to validating his statement and shows to the audience that he is currently saying about facts. In the simple way, if we don't do something that others may think we do it or we did it, we will use the palm down display and say, no, I don't do it. Alright, we use this gesture. If a liar, he want to persuade somebody saying that he not the one who do it or did it, he will intend to use the palm up display. Basically, this palm up display is more submissive and want to be accepted.
The question now is, can freedom be maintained under the most severe attack it has ever known? I think it can be. And I think in the final analysis, it depends upon what we do here. I think it's time America started moving again.
And now the opening statement by Vice President Richard M. Nixon.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, again Kennedy went back to his seat, and again he crossed his leg on top of his left leg. He's having a same sitting posture, crossing legs. This confirmed that sitting posture of a crossing legs is his culture. If we do some research or we do a little bit effort, we Google John F. Kennedy sitting, you can look the pictures having the same sitting posture, which is a crossing legs posture. So I believe and I confirm, 95% confirm, that the crossing legs sitting posture is his culture or his norm behavior of sitting. In reading body language, the most important thing to capture is their baseline. The baselines, it could be their culture, it could be also their norm behavior, or maybe their habits. That is how it goes, where body language very helped John F. Kennedy to win the US elections. It's very obvious right now, right? How body language is really helpful, is very powerful, especially we want to nail our presentations, we want to look more confident, we want to gain trust from somebody. If you're really interested to learn about body language, I strongly recommend you to go have a look the full 1 hour video. A lot of nonverbal communication portrayed throughout the debate. You can find the link of the full 1 hour video in the description below. If you really like this video, please hit the like button below. If you wish to see more on this kind of content, or maybe you have any suggestions on video for us to analyze together, please feel free to leave your comment, and please don't forget to subscribe and share this video to others. See you again.